the knees in the shoulder look, foot's on the outside, hands stopping the shoulder coming forward, so you can either be pushing the shoulder away, holding the shoulder there, just stopping that pressure coming in. This hand sort of guarding, protecting the bubble, the extremity of the bubble. I don't want to spread my head. Yeah. Again, I can hold the sleeve if I want, push the arm away, however you like it, really. And what most of the attacks were about getting in behind our opponent. Okay? So, from my perspective today, I'm going to talk about what the attacker would do on top. But I just want to get the entrance right for the person on the bottom. So we'll just use that as a bit of a warm-up technique. So I'm going to guard this space, and I'm going to pivot from here, look, just kicking my leg to put my opponent off balance. And then I'm going to use the fall of the leg to flatten me. I already used that momentum of him coming in. Right? So it brought him up. And it brought me down. And then look, watch, straighten my legs. Bring him up, down. Look how low I am now. Yeah, it's like a rattlesnake's belly on that ball. You know what I mean? I'm all the way down. And when you're here, look, don't try and climb over your legs, look. Because there's somebody there. You get down here, engage your hips. And come on. Yeah? Here we go. And I start to sit him down, and squeeze him down on the inside of my leg, and he starts penduluming me, you know what I mean? And then back. Even though he's actually done it, which is kind of cool. I'm glad he did that. He started with his arm as the underhook high on my back. Now he's penduluming me and got me forward. If he leaves his arm high up on my back, he leaves an anchor there for me to try and climb back down. Does that make sense? So I can stop his initial get up by like anchoring here. And then if I get back an inch, I can then anchor back down here. And before he knows it, he ends up back where he was before. You get the idea. So what I find really helpful is if once I've got them going forward, you're doing it. See how his arms now drop. You know where you get that line underneath your bum cheek? He's like holding underneath my butt cheek with his arm. Now it's hard for me to reach back. Because, can you see? And at the same time, if I try to come back, he can use that to like just lift me forward. Well, just stay right down. Just sort of like bump me up. You see, it's where my base is. I can't get back. Does that make sense for everybody? And now, if he kicks his legs out the back and comes up to his knees, he may end up in a single leg fight. Do you get the idea? And I'm starting to base with this leg. So what I find, just go back where you go. So what I find I do at this stage is I hold that leg with that arm. Can you see? And pass it into that hand. So now when he kicks the legs out the back, I can't base with the other leg. So I can't run away. It's all done now. My advice here is personal preference. Some people like to plow in. My advice is to circle. Now this is circle number. So the modification on this round is once we get them up higher, we're going to drop down around that, just underneath that bum cheek. Yeah? To bump them forwards. And we're just going to collect the other leg and pass it into the hand before we kick the legs out back. Yeah? Everybody got it? Understand it? Give it a try. keep these legs in contact and holding my leg and get up without engaging at the same time as engaging it is impossible. He has to leave his hips behind him to get up while he keeps this attached. Does that make sense? To engage his hips, he has to get these behind him. He can't do both. He can only do one or the other. You have to make a decision whether the balance and the power of the person on top is that good that you... If you can get up holding the leg, get up holding the leg. But if you're fighting a wrestler with freakish balance that's pushing back into you, you won't be able to get up. You'll be going, and I can't get up. And you'll need to have that explosion to get out. And you'll need to engage.
Other ways to get there from, even if you don't like backstepping, the person might have gone deep half guard on you, and then they might push the leg, and you can end up in that exact same position. So even if you don't like playing it, sometimes you just end up in scrambles and you end up there. So it's nice to know a little bit, even if you don't want to have a backstep. Okay. If I've got the same thing on Jake now, and when I've got sort of taken my backstep and my knees slightly out already, okay. Before I've gripped now, if Jake suddenly starts turning towards me now, I'm going to have to kind of base that hand on the floor. I don't want to fall over. Okay. So, once I've taken my back step, I can always, as he's turning, I'm going to cross face deep. My hand comes on top, and then I'm going to pull to the side. The cross face, my hand's coming all the way through, and I'm going to try and grab onto the... the further I can get onto the back of the bed. If you've got long arms, and you can grab the belt, it's an absolute nightmare for the person with me. Now, I'm not cross-facing at the side. Okay, if I do that and Jake pushes me, I just can't hold. Yeah. If I've got that cross-face and my shoulder drops, as I take my back step, I like to have my weight. I don't like putting my hand kind of down this way, so my weight, it's all kind of wobbling a bit. I like to have my hip sat in this hip. There's different grips I use here. Okay. Once I get on top, just to stabilise only, sometimes I might grip through and take that trouser grip. Now if Jake starts to turn back into me, yeah, I think you should be at pretty much base, without using his other hand in that position, sat on top. Yeah. The other grip is a far grip over the leg, especially if Jake starts to turn a little bit. Sometimes I'll take this top grip and then I'm going to drag the legs down as well. So there's different hand grips here. The other hand I use floating. Just be careful that they don't kind of catch that arm, or that arm ends up behind your back in that position. Yeah. So if I do base it, I'll try and turn the hand kind of out so it's ready to come back in rather than being that way. Okay? So once I took that back step, at the start, the whole game that was off this underhook. Yeah? Once I get my back step here, and Jake's still underhooking me, there's a big gap there now. Yeah? So what I do a lot of the time now is, I don't feed it in fully first, and then Jake, with this hand, he ends up kind of trapped in it, and then I'm in trouble. So as I start to come back this way, I start to spin back round, then my underhook comes, and then my head buries. Yeah? So he wants to face, for Jake, that's better, balling up and then doing the same thing. So I want to open him out, so from that underhook, the back of my head is going to pressure the top of Jake's head, and now my legs are going to push his legs down. I curl my toes, so from there, my toes are going to curl on top, so they can just slide out. I can base my hand on the floor to push back in, and then I'm going to hold the arm. Curl my toes, then I get my pass. When I pass, I like to keep my head low, walk back in, come across, and then low. Okay. So if I've got to here, I back step again, I'm still sitting on top of the hip. If you want that extra grip, you can take that grip if you feel more base, but try not to be. I'll look at a pass probably tomorrow where you're coming under the head to pass. For now, if you're on top though, a simple way of going is to feed that on. But I'll feed it as I go. So if I've got the legs there, Jake can't go anywhere. You can't turn back into me because he needs that leg. Yeah, so as I start to go, then my underhook comes, then I can let go of the legs. The back of my head is going to push. That will loosen Jake's legs. My toes curl on top. So if Jake actually opens his leg now, my toes are ready to slide out. I'm not trying to drag the foot out there. Hand based on the floor, grab the tricep, my knee pushes down so my hips slowly sink into the floor, and then I use my feet again, pushing into the mat, head stays low, and then knees come up. Okay. Want to give that a go a few times? We'll just do this for a few minutes.
When the legs are close together or closer together, there's quite a lot of power in the legs because they work as a pair. And the lock and this bottom hook is very strong because the two items are working together, it's compressed, it's folded in, it's really strong. So that's why but also that means I can put pressure in like we were just learning, yeah? Steve reacts to this in here by bringing his knee forward and out. So now can you see how I can't, even if I try to turn, I can't generate the rotation because he's opened his legs apart. So what the tendency is in the brain to do is to go, well, this windshield wiper and working my way out of the thing, which is fairly simplistic. We tend to think in our brain, oh, we can't do that anymore. But we can, but we just have to rearrange it a little bit differently. So because the legs are apart, I don't require as much movement to attack this leg because he's weakened his legs by spreading them apart. Does that make sense to everybody? So all I'm really going to do is when I'm here and I come in and Steve opens up, I'm going to bring this knee in like I'm pinching it. And I pinch this knee sort of in and back. By taking it back to his calf and bringing it in, I straighten Steve's leg. And it's hard for Steve to stop that straightening because there's not as much power because he's opened his legs apart. Do you all understand that? So the movement is just pinch back a bit to straighten the leg a little bit and pinch again. So I should be pinching with this knee on the calf. Yeah? Do you all understand that? Okay. So it was here, I went in for the dive, but he opened it. So I maybe even tried it, I can't do it. Knee, straight and knee. See how it's opened it? And now because it's straight and it's open, it's on. Okay? So what I want to start with from the point of view of the person on top is this initial position. This initial position here. This first example, the knee's a little bit lower. It's more of a shield rather than a guard. Do you understand what I mean? Like in the technique that we just used, it was up high, it was an attacking guard, it was knocking me off balance. In this first scenario, the knee's a little bit lower, as in I might have been passing and they've used the shield to get some space. Does that make sense to everybody? This leg's hooked. So what I want to do is I want to use a windshield wiper movement with my feet to pass this hook. All right? It won't be completely low. If it's completely low, it's too easy. So it'll be somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? Like they push me away and they just started opening out. Before they get to the top again, I'm going to snake in with my top hand just to the top of the knee. Okay, on this side. Yeah? So now Steve's going to be really trying to open it because he don't want me to jam them together. It's too late because I'm already out of it. Yeah? Can you see that? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to base on this leg. Okay? So I'm going to base up on this leg to turn this hip into Stephen. As I turn the hip in, see how my foot turns out on this back foot. And if you can't see, you can always move. And then when I turn back, my foot turns over. You see that? So it turns out and then turns back over. At the point when I arrive back here, I start making my decisions on what I'm going for. Like if Steve's pushing hard with this and taking his shoulders back, I'm probably going to end up with the collar. If I can early enough, I want to take the sleeve because there's a lot less to deal with. Do you know what I mean? When I take the sleeve. My head's going to go down into the body now, and I'm just going to see how my hips turn again. And look, chest pressure, this hand is like straightened now. And see how I'm in like that crocodile position up the mat? Like my hips are turned to generate pressure, to drive in to stay. Fantastic out. So all, just as he comes back in, before he had a chance to fully open and get to an attacking guard position, I'm just going to clamp on. Dead simple, dead easy. He's now going to want to open this out. Okay? As he goes to open this out, I stay solid. Okay? I increase my power on this side by basing and turning. You see? Opening up. And then when I go back the other way, I reach it back from my foot. And then I can pass by. That in. You just do that, Stephen, there. This foot bases. I drop this hip down. I just do this because I haven't got a body to lay on. This hip drops down, opens my hip up, and it rotates back and I pivot and then again, like I said, a lot of people make connection now. I don't. I prefer to keep the base. It's more of a priority to me. But you can work that yourself. Neither of them are right or wrong. They're just preference. Okay. I'm just going to use the angle of my body to unhook, to come over, and that's when I'm going to look at my connection of my pass. Second variation, I start coming in here to look, but he brings his knee forward and out, bring my knee in, take my knee, pinch a little bit to unhook. My problem that I said was, the problem in this position is this knee still in the shoulder, yeah, so I need this hand here, yeah, while he's doing this is still protected, all right? So what I like to do in this position is I like to pivot on my legs and go back the other way. Can you see? So I've stapled this outside leg now. This hand's still here if he tries to kick me. Do you understand what I mean? Like they've still got a strong base. And then now this leg is the problem. Can you see? This leg is still in front of me, isn't it? Yeah? So I make a connection as soon as I can. So now when he tries to kick me away or whatever, it's hard because it's like trying to pick a bucket or what he's stood in it, yeah? Because I'm connected to him, yeah? And my outside hand, which was just connected anywhere that I could, is now going to go back to the leg. And I'm going to come up, pull, and step all in one go. Because I want it behind me. Can you see? So the leg's gone now. Now, for the first time in this pass, I can make connection. Do you understand what I mean? I can get into my opponent. I like to, because I'm tall, I like going with a cross face. Some of you might have to keep this grip. Do you know what I mean? Because you'll be shorter or that you're fighting somebody taller. Depends. Where you're going to grip here is going to depend a lot on yourself and the other person. Okay? But generally, because I'm quite tall, I like to come in. And then look, I move this foot first. Yeah? And that foot. And now, I'll pass it back. All right? So, here, in the half guard position, I went to do my first one, but he stopped it. Knee in, back, unhook, hook. Yeah, see how I pivoted back over. Connect, so that does away with the kicking away. Connect, come up to the foot. Yeah, up, pull, step all in one go. Get rid of it, behind you. And then low down. Connect. This foot first, see how this foot goes before the other foot. Got it? And this is fine, it's good in a way, but now I can't move. I'm so tight and so locked up that I can't bloody move either. Do you get the idea? And you learn after a while that there's not that much difference between that and that. There's really not that much difference. It's kind of the same thing, but yes, way less energy and way less work. There's not really a great deal of difference. This is doing fundamentally the same job as what that does, just lazier, okay? And the same goes when you're on top, when you're here, when you go to do this nip with the knees, there's a tendency to like nip and then like I've got to straighten like I'm doing a knee bar. And it doesn't need to be that extreme. I don't need to straighten the leg to lock it out. I just need it to be straight enough so I can unhook it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to knee bar. I'm not trying to do a fancy move. I just need to unhook this leg. If that leg straightens to there, I can unhook it. That's all I need to do. That's the whole purpose of the exercise. I just want to be able to unhook that foot. So I don't need to do a lot with it. I don't need to be too extreme low. So when this is low, I'm just trying to smash in so I can unhook the foot. If I start trying to smash in and he opens the knee out, I'm not going to be able to rotate to unhook my foot. So I bring my knee in, look, see that knee just comes in, and this knee just goes in and nips slightly. That was just enough, look how tiny it was, look. That was enough. I didn't need a big motion. All I'm doing is just straightening that bottom part of the leg in, it's about an inch. And then I can go over, and then I can pass. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah?
You've still got enough base on that hand when you bring your knee in, just to try and kick you over.
You're very close to understanding why you can't pass that way. You understand what I mean? I like your thinking. You're starting to understand now why. You know, with the first one, I said, once you've gone here and gone back, you can pass that way. Because this leg's now flat, I can get pressure. There's nothing to protect that bubble on that side. With this one, with this one, when I brought my knee in and stripped back, the hands are there to protect that bubble, and the knee is. Can you see? So I can't actually go in. He's going to start. You get what I mean? Which is exactly what you're on about. And that's why it's important to. That's why I don't grip straight away. I always keep my hand on the floor straight away until I've secured all this. And we'll talk about how we pass that in a second. So you're close, that's quite good that you picked up on that. Put that on sit down. Yeah? But remember what I said about them little movements. Don't make big movements, little tiny movements. You're only trying to unhook the foot. That's the purpose. Trying to do knee bars or like that. Okay? We've got a couple more. So, you help me because I'm slow. What is the purpose of either the hip drop or the knee pinch? What's the purpose of it? Right, yes.
That's a sit down.
Limit his movement.
It's better than 27, to one-up this. It's only purpose. Do you know what I mean? That's all it does. It doesn't do all else. It just allows me to come out of that crane hook. That's all it does. Allows me to come out of the crane. After come out of the crane hook, what is my next purpose? And this one is actually your answer. Pass. To pass though, I need to get to the chest, yeah? So I need to get pressure. So probably the next thing is establishing some kind of pressure, right? With the first one, it's fairly simplistic. When I drop and come back, I can already immediately get pressure, right? So it's fairly simplistic, fairly easy problem solved. I can get pressure, I can go, right? With the second variation, we were saying the problem is I can't get pressure. So I've done really well, I've unhooked my foot, but because of the knee, I can't establish pressure. Does that make sense? So we need to get what is the item that's stopping me establishing pressure? That knee. So I've got to get the knee out of the way. I can't really stand up and move away because what then becomes live again? The bottom leg, doesn't it? So all that hard work unhooking goes out the window straight away. Does that make sense? So I need to climb back on in order to get that out of the way. Now that's out of the way, I can get pressure. I can get on. Oh, yeah, baby. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm into it now. I'm in. Like now I've got pressure. Now I can pass. You understand? So it's very important that as you unhook, you don't move away. So what I'm saying for a few of you guys is that when you pinch in here, this is the problem when you stretch your leg back. Look where I am now. Does that make sense? I'm back here now. So it's hard to apply pressure because I've moved myself away. I wasn't trying to move away, was I? You get the idea? So that's why the leg can't push backwards. Because now I'm stapling the shin. Yeah? I have to bring my knee in and get his calf. So now I'm close now. I'm higher up. I'm kind of on his knee now. And I don't want to establish it very long because he's going to move. So I need to go back. Now I'm over his leg. You see that? And I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there. Look, I'm coming for you. And he's going to be panicking now. He's going to be pushing with that like, I'm going to be holding on. And now I'm coming up here and I'm going, I'm coming. You're not going anywhere. I'm attached to you now. You know what I mean? I've got to stick to him. Then I go in. Then I go. Then I go. You get the idea? You've got to creep up. Yeah? So when you're doing your windshield wiping, make sure you're accurate and you stay close. Do a couple more and I'll try and show you something sexy. I'm not very good at it, but I don't. When I come in here, why do I go in with the cross legs? Right? Why not over the shoulder? And why did you mention that sometimes you might hold here and so on and so forth? Just stay with that. The point when I pass this way, what's probably the primary option for this fella, for James? Try and turn into me to get his knees and legs back inside. So he's gonna go from like that to like that to try and get his legs back inside. And he's probably gonna do what? Shrimp. And he's probably gonna move away. Right, do us a favour, James. From there, just push out and do a shrimp for me, mate. Come back. Do it again. Very nice. Come back. Right. Put both your hips so they point upwards. Both your hips so they point upwards. In other words, lay flat on your back. Right, shrimp without getting on your side. Right? So we've learned something mechanically, haven't we? That when somebody's flat on their back, they can't shrimp to make space to bring their legs in. Right? So go back into that initial position you were in. Right? As I pass now, I can do one or two things, can't I? I can turn his head so he can't shrimp. So that side can't come up. Does that make sense? I can push his shoulder down by going over the top of his arm, so he can't do that. I can pull this side up in some way so it puts him back flat. What I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter. As long as they're flat and they can't move, I don't care what you grip them with. Stick your thumb in their eye. You know what I mean? It makes no difference whatsoever. As long as that side can't come up and they can't move that way, it's no difference. Not one little bit. Yeah? Do you all understand that? So it depends on your preference. I like to crush the head. That's why I grab the face. Some people like to go over the shoulders. You know what I mean? Like it all depends. Okay? So play with that yourself. The other question that I've been asked is, and it's a really question, it's getting a bit more advanced. The question was that when you put this arm in here, when this knee's flat, you're fine. But when this knee starts to come out, if they grab, you're in lasso gap. Does that make sense? You're in lasso gap here. And the sort of said, well, it don't work now. Well, it does, but it does. What you've got to remember now is, in effect, you've moved another rung down the ladder. So before I can now think about unhooking my hips, I have to deal with the grip that's going to sweep me. Does that make sense to everybody? So when my arm's in deep here and high up on the leg, there's power in this. If he opens his leg up, I go, yeah? But if I get my arm down onto his shin bone, here, sweep me. Come on. Because there's no power in this now. So the battle now would be, if he grabbed my arm, to get down, yeah? So then I can pinch in and straighten. Nothing's changed. All that happened is I had another element to deal with before I could get into unhooking my legs. Does that make sense? Deal with what is in front of you at that time, and then move forward. Do you get the idea?
So to break that grip. So you're in that position now, but he's still.
Well, when I get into this position here, and he's got that there, I can start to shuffle in, and now I can start to deal with this next problem. This is still a problem, but it's no good to him now. He's not gaining anything in this position. It's much easier for me to circle and start to attack and go. Do you understand what I mean? So I wanted to add that bit because some of you more advanced guys in the room are starting to make your brains tick and starting to think about complications, and that's really good. That's what you should be doing. But don't forget the simplistic nature of jiu-jitsu. If that's an obstacle in the way, deal with that obstacle before you unhook. It doesn't mean the whole pass is dead. It just means that you've got to deal with that first. Yeah? Get the idea? Couple more goes and then I'll just do my sexy bit. Like when you're escaping the mount, you know what I mean, in your frame, you bump and you flatten one leg. So you tend to shrimp on this very predominantly on one side, you know, off one leg, and this one kind of works. When people get desperate, when people are passing their guard, they tend to like grip with both feet. Do you know what I mean? When people are passing around their legs, and they tend to sort of like, to get the idea, they sort of have this effect where they bring their knees together and rock over and look to, because it sort of increases the power in the shrimp. Whether that's technically right or wrong, I don't really care. That's what they do. Do you know what I mean? That's what I experience happens. So, even if you do all these things, at the point when you pass, people are still going to shrimp. Do you know what I mean? Like people are still going to move and look to get out of the way. But because if you understand how they're going to look to do that, you can start to predict and go in front. I'll put a disclaimer on this. This is very much not a natural game for me to play. I do this to try and improve my ability to do it, but I'm not brilliant at it. But some of you will be. Do you know what I mean? You'll be way better at it than me. Probably by the end of this lesson, some of you will be way better at this than I am. Okay? So, what happens is when I'm in here and I say bring the knee in, stretch back and come over. Yeah? And I go back in with this foot like we said, connect on, come up tall, and now ready to pass. When I shoot in here, look, and look to pass here, the leg starts coming. So what I do, my hand's already in position, I bring it in place and I pin it back. Can you see? Hands come back out and I switch my feet and go back the other way. Do you know what I mean? Back the other side. So I use the same switching motion with the feet to pin the legs back and switch back to the other side. And if you're really good at this, a lot of guys end up really taking the back. So guys expose the back of this time. Alright? So, I'm here, knee in, out, over, come up, back in, go this way, it starts to move, here, go back up. Now go back. Yeah? So the key detail.
Now, there's certain things that I don't want to happen. If Jake takes this grip and he flattens my hip now, you just come back a little. Even to there, if I hook his leg now, I've not got power to elevate his foot up in the air. I've got power to kick him that way, but if I do that, see how his hook's just going to fall off. I'm not connected to him fully. Okay. So anytime, if someone grabs, this is the pass we did yesterday, so Jake's head's buried, he's pulled there, he's trying to turn his knee to the mat. If he does that, just right to my knee, just don't try and hook it. Even if it's half of that and it's there, don't think, oh, Steve showed us this flip where I grab here, and then you try and do that, and it elevates his ankle, but his knee just pops off. If his knee's pointing to the ceiling, like this way, when I elevate the ankle, his knee moves and then it'll switch his hips. Yeah? So that moves his whole body. If Jake scoots his hip back now, yeah, when I elevate and he goes a bit more, when I elevate now, it elevates his ankle, but his knee doesn't move, his hip doesn't move, then he scoots again, and then I've just kicked into nothing, and then he's got his pass. Okay? So what we're going to do is, as soon as he grabs that, I open my knee. Yeah? So I'm not just pinching this way, because now when he starts to pull, it's hard for me to open my knee once it's gone. So as soon as I get here, my knee's open. Yeah, if he grabs now and pulls, yeah, Yeah, it's hard, and then it's easy just to come over that grip and break the grip. When I broke the grip, I hold the hand for a second, I get my feet ready, and then I plant my foot, and then I go. Does that make sense? So as I'm grabbing here, he's trying to pull here, so I pop the grip. Yeah, then as soon as it's hard to get the grip again now. Yeah, my foot goes, and then I'm going to kick. Yeah. I'm going to give that a go. We'll do short. What you're saying now. Yeah. So now I've hooked the leg, and because my hips are elevated, you can only get this sweep if my hips are down on the mat and I'm down low here. If I'm elevated, if I've come to here, and he's power again. See how his knee's pointing that way? It's hard for him to swing backwards now. Yeah, because this is, you can't turn his hip towards him, can you? No. Yeah. So the only way, if he kicks with this leg, he's going to kick that way. Yeah. Yeah. Which doesn't bother me. Yeah. So if I'm there and he thinks he's going to get this sweep, as he kicks now, I elevate up and then I'm coming over again. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you don't get into this position and think, hang on, I remember there's a sweep from there. Yeah. Unless Jake's got my hip on the floor. Yeah. Does that make sense? So if you're there, this is a good way of getting the pass from this position. Yeah. Still, just be aware of this. If you elevate up, be aware that he doesn't catch that. You know, go for that other arm bar there. Yeah. Where he can catch it right arm. That way. Yeah. Just watching that before. Is that alright, guys? Give it 2 minutes and we'll move. He might not be passing my guard, but this is a bit of an issue. And if people are allowed to knee bar, or if it's no-gi and he can shrimp his hips out, now this is a good position for heel hooks. Okay? Yeah. So this isn't too good for me. If someone's not holding that tight, or sometimes if I get here, they might change Jake might want to pass them. Yeah? So he's going to take this hand and put it to there. Yeah? So when he's hugging underneath, as soon as he takes that hand off, then I go. You know, so I'm waiting for that kind of movement. He might not know what he's doing. It might just be a fluke, you know. And then he might think, oh, and he actually needs that leg. And as soon as he goes, then I go. Yeah. But ideally, I don't want this leg to be to him hooking under this leg. Yeah. If he grabs on top here, the other thing is for him to pull my knee, he needs to moves his hip back. So he scoots his hip, and then that's horizontal. Yeah. So instead of holding the collar, I've started holding the hip, and then I'll jam the hip in, and it makes it harder for him to scoot his hip now. Yeah. And if he does scoot it a little bit, because his knee's coming down, I'll scoot my hip into him. So every time he scoots, I scoot my hip in. Because when he scoots now, his knee's pointing that way. So I'm going to lose that again. Yeah. So I can't go yet. I'm abandoning it yet. I've got to play the game a bit, and I scoot my hip in, and I move my hip in. See how his knee points to the ceiling now? Yeah. So now if I've got my grips free, now I lift his ankle, his knee, his hip goes, and then I'm back up on top. So I'm trying to scoot. It's kind of like loads of little details you watch it for, so you don't just blindly think, I'm nearly there, 30% there, I'll go, and then you end up passing your guard. Yeah? So, to deal with this inside leg then, if Jake's in half guard, or he's trying with me, when he switches back now, yeah, I switch my hooks. My close side hook was underneath, and I pull my heel to my bum. If he hooks underneath that leg now, yeah, there's less to hook under. Yeah. If he did want to knee bar me on this knee, yeah, he's not going to be able to catch my foot. If he did want to do the saddle position, where he grabs that ankle, yeah, and he pulls that in, he's not actually, you know, he's no longer hooking both my legs. Yeah. So I'm driving this one under this one here. I still don't want him to drag. If he comes in here though and slides it back, his foot's kind of free to come out. So to stop that, this hook comes under, the other one's on top, I grab onto his hip. Okay. So now, if he scoots back, yeah, my knee's still open to, yeah, now it's hard for him to pass. So I'll start breaking the grips. He can't grip there, I don't know where else you grip. If he can't grip there, he's probably going to grip there. Yeah. So I'll break that grip now. Now I just need to grab on here. Yeah, I just change my legs quickly and then put this foot under. And then. One more time, guys.
When you flick in with the leg that was, you know, you changed it. You too suspect.
Can you what?
Yeah, like say you were just trying to do it quickly rather than switching, just flick them on that same leg.
I've not. Then I'd need to push this foot down,
Yeah.
and then I feel like it's not. I can't. I need this foot back. If you watch when I change now, see how my foot comes back. So then my power's coming from that floor. If I do it the other way,
These waves on top.
you can't. It might work. Yeah. I can feel like I can push up the other leg. It just feels more comfortable to start off here. Yeah, hold on to the hip, pull it in so he can't scoot, and then I just switch my feet. But the key from the half guard, the key is when he switches, you want to hide that leg so they can't hook under your leg. It stops the knee bars and it stops them kind of anchoring on and stalling in that position. Is that right, guys? Yeah. The person's sat down and you've got the hooking, sometimes, especially if they're hooking under this leg, yeah, this messes his sweep up a bit. If Jake goes to sweep me now, he's not got the power of putting this on the floor to elevate it to kick it back. Yeah. So if someone's holding this way and this way, they're not so much passing though, yeah, but they might be doing this for stability. So if I'm here, Jake doesn't really want to try and, if he uncrosses his legs now, yeah, I can take my crossface off, elevate up, and then kick over. Yeah. And then essentially I've got past the legs again. Yeah. There's a few tricks to getting past from here, but it's mainly I've got past his legs, he's not playing down. Okay. So the first thing to try then is if they're hugging your leg this way, this is going to mess it up. Yeah? And then I'm still low here, but I'm getting ready to put my hand on the floor so I can elevate the hip. If Jake's holding my collar again, even pull it, that collar doesn't really stop me elevating. If I try this though, and then Jake and it doesn't work, if you go, yeah, at worst he can't take it back because he needs this spot on the floor. Yeah? But I'm not pulling his knees now to pass. Okay? So all you're doing is my hand facing on the floor. I've seen he switch his grips, I know what to work for. Yeah, I've got this leg so I know he can't go. If I take this hand out, yeah, if I base my leg back, that's not going to help. If I take the hand out and base my knee underneath his leg, even though it looks like I've got less base backwards now, if Jake goes now, yeah, that's actually harder for him to go. Yeah, yeah, because he can't base that foot. Yeah. So you think, if I do that, you think I'm better. Yeah, because I've got a nice base backwards. If Jake goes now, he's still going to sweep me. Yeah, if I've not got this and I do both, if Jake goes to sweep me now, yeah, very hard for him to sweep me now. So I've got that leg. Yeah. So what you can try, 3 things. 1, try holding here, yeah, and try and having your base. That's number 1. Number 2, try putting your knee under. Yeah. I'm not passing it, it's just to get my stability. Maybe I've not got a good crossface, maybe I'm just adjusting that crossface better. The third one, hand on the floor as he lifts. Now, I'm going to step over, and then you come in, pass it out that way. One more time, guys. Yeah. So 3 different things. 1, hook underneath this leg, okay, and then get your crossface. Yeah, and then you can base your leg out now if you feel more comfortable, or you put your knee in. Yeah, and then get the person just to try and sweep you backwards, and that should be hard. Yeah. Second one, this isn't as good. Yeah, but if I've got my knee here and Jake goes to sweep me, it still makes it awkward for him to sweep. Yeah, that's much better than me being here, because then I'm going to fall. Yeah. The third one, yeah, I'm holding underneath, I've got this grip. Now my hand's on the floor now, so I know he's going to go for this. As he goes, I elevate up, and then I'm passing over. Yeah. Do you want to give those 3 a go, and then we'll